Okay, let's have a look at challenge 6A. So challenge 6A is suggesting that we have to survive for 15 turns. So the other thing we can do is we can just outright kill the enemy wizard, but that's going to be tough on this map because the enemy wizard has a lot of reinforcements here. So we're going to have to be fairly cunning to even to survive. So these hills here are a height 1, so they're not really going to present a serious obstacle. So what we need to do is, as quickly as possible, we need to get up here and seal off this bottleneck. The enemy wizard's going to be casting a lot of lions as it picks up these sprites, and the lions can hop over the walls here. So probably undead are going to be the best thing we can use to sort this out, actually, rather than growths. So we can see the lion has it can throw its rock. And rather, the giant, sorry, can throw its rock 3 hexes, and it can move 2. So it's effectively the same as bolt. So that giant can attack these hexes. That giant can attack these hexes. So we can move up to here quite safely this turn, and cast a skeleton. And I think we'll make this a real one. This skeleton's going to be what stands between us and certain doom. So the blob's going to be very useful in tying up all these creatures. So yeah, the enemy wizard's going to get all these sprites now, and there's nothing we can do about it. But what we can do is put this skeleton here, and that will mean that none of these guys can advance beyond it, because the engagement rules will apply. So the skeleton has an agility of 60. None of these guys have anything approaching that, so they can't run past the skeleton, and they're going to be stuck adjacent to it for as long as the skeleton survives. And I think what I'm going to do after that is use some tangle vine to seal off this area of the map here. So the vine goes down here from this rock here to this rock here over to here. So we can't completely seal it off, but it's going to take the giant a long time to get all the way around here. And we can maybe cast something else to fill these holes a little later on. So yeah, it's explaining here the vine has an absolute ton of defense, but fairly weak magic power, so it's fairly vulnerable to magic attacks. And the skeleton may as well have a go at the giant. Okay, so the paladin has just become my #1 problem, because it's the only thing that can deal with the skeleton. So I'm going to need to keep the skeleton away. So while the giant's going to cut through this in 2 or 3 moves, so we're going to have to do something about that in the next turn. So I think it's probably worth me burning some cards and blobbing this lot. Yeah, I can't really move any closer at the moment, so I'll have a go at the giant that we can. The wizard's going to take shelter behind the skeleton. I guess the giant doesn't have line of sight to the wizard, I guess because the skeleton's blocking it, which is good. We're going to take a hit from this rat here, but again, I'm not particularly concerned. We're going to burn a dwarf because they are useful blocking units, but I'm more interested in getting this blob out to weaken the giant and hopefully tie up some of these other creatures. Blob is great for this kind of stuff. So I don't think I'm going to need 2 shadow wood, so I'll get rid of one of those as well. And cast my blob. So that's great. That's exactly what I wanted. And now I can now that the line is now that the giant is blobbed. It can't use its rock to kill my wizard, so I can move this round to block the rat's attack. And the AI here has got a magic attack, and this goblin could probably have took it out of the blob, so that's probably not a great move. Skeleton should have stayed here, and I should have taken the hit from the rat, and then killed the rat with my wizard and with the skeleton. So yeah, don't do this. Goodness me, the giant is tall enough to see over that tangle vine. That's an important lesson was learned by everyone. The tangle vine has height 4, the giant has height 4, and it's standing on a hill. I think I'm going to crack on anyway. This has been a less than textbook example of how to proceed with these things, but I guess sometimes that's how it goes, and we're not dead yet. So, let's look at all this stuff. I think we're going to... worried about this blob, so the goblin and the paladin between them can free the giant from the blob, but they will themselves then risk being blobbed. So what we could really do with is a mount. So no, or some blocking creatures. Or some trees. Let's get rid of these rats because they can't block line of sight. Magic sword is somewhat nice because it would let me finish off a lot of this stuff, but I don't think I'm really in a position to use it, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. And yeah, these that's about as much as I can usefully burn. I'm down to this is good news though. So I'm down to only 3 mana per burn card, and I've only got 1 spell left, but one of the spells I drew is Blob. And I believe the spells you draw each time for the tutorials are the same, so I can now safely move forward and attack the giant like that, and blob the paladin. And the blobbers, it would have either have got the goblin or it's blocked the goblin's ability to free the giant. And I'll move around this way to deal with these rats. So this is okay, we got this. Oh great, I got another, even more blob. Fantastic, this is one of the things I was mentioning before. So the blob's going to finish off the giant. It's trap the paladin and the goblin can't attack me. I've got these guys creeping around the edges here, but I'm not particularly worried. Okay, the giant's dead. Right, so we can finish this rat. We can blob this giant as well, and it's going to have a hard time getting out because it's on its own. So it would require 2 magic attacks to free this giant that threw a rock at us. Because we don't want it creeping around the back and attacking us later on. And we're going to use the skeleton here, which again has full health, so it can't be one-shotted by a magic attack, to block attacks by the lion and the rat. So the blob has spread to all of the enemy creatures now. This is great. And this is exactly what the blob's for, so hopefully now we can just sit tight and acquire mana. So these guys, they've backed off because they know they can't win a fight versus a skeleton. This, okay, the blob's taking off 11 hit points per turn. That's not stellar. So I'm a little tempted to put some trees down. I think what will be better is to just ignore this giant for now and use the skeleton to, because I like trees here, but I'm actually, although I can dispel my blob for a cost of 5 mana per blob, I think I'm going to have to wait and work my way through it more naturally. So I'll move the skeleton over here. I'm going to cast a fake goblin over here to attack this giant while it's stuck in the blob. I'm just going to sit here and hope that the blob opens a pathway for me next turn. Well, this is better so that I can put some trees down here to attack these guys while they're stuck. Well, it looks like the blob's probably going to finish off this goblin, and it's already taken off half of the paladin's health, so this is very good news. So I'm going to use some dispels now because I've got a bit more mana. So I'll dispel this blob by clicking it and hitting dispel blob. And now the fake goblin can have an attack of it. The skeleton's going to have to move around here. And with its agility of 60, it's now pinned the lion that has an agility of 40, so the lion can't attack me next turn. And the rat hasn't got the range anymore with all this blob here. And so I'm going to dispel this blob as well. Move forwards, and I can kill this goblin because although the giant is up high here, this will block line of sight. And this giant can only move forwards 1, so again that can't see me, so I want to do that. And put some trees down here. So I can get 3 trees down if I dispel 2 of my blobs. And the spell only costs me 20, so that's going to work out fine. And I'll put another one here to make life difficult for the giant if it does want to come up here, or for any lions that want to try and come up over here. And another one here just because I can. So yeah, we have a lot of scuttling around here, but nothing really to worry about. And we've lasted as long as we're halfway there. It's turn 7 out of 15. So I don't think we're going to actually defeat the enemy wizard in this game, but we should be able to survive until the end. I'd be feeling a bit more confident if I hadn't let the giant throw its rock at me earlier on. Okay, so let's have a look at what we can do. The goblin can finish off that giant. Skeleton can certainly take a swing at that lion. With the trees now, this is the only thing that tree can attack, so it may as well attack it. And these are the only things these can attack, so goodness me, a fake paladin. That was wow, that was a brave move by the AI. I mean, obviously I didn't disbelieve it, because who casts fake paladins? But especially with this much mana, that was a tasty move there. Well played, the AI. Okay, so now I can, yeah, each of my trees could only attack one thing. They've all attacked the one thing that they could attack, and I need to look at what I'm going to attack next. What I need to do is to avoid being killed by this rat, because that would be very humiliating. And so these this giant can't attack me with its rock. This one could if I moved my wizard to attack the rat, so I'd be dead. So I think what I need now is a mount of some kind, because I've got plenty of mana for it. I know what I can do. I can just pin this skeleton. Pin the rat with the skeleton. So yeah, the skeleton has an agility of 60. So if it goes to stand next to the rat can't move next turn, and it can't attack my skeleton. So that this skeleton has been key to the whole game, really. keeping stuff trapped and invulnerable to everything except magic attacks because the enemy wizard's hanging all the way back here. So all that said, I want to back off and get on a decent mount. Okay, so that tree's done its job. The trees were for the paladin. Oh, surprisingly, the spider attacked the blob instead of the tree. Well, that's pretty good news. Okay, so we can finish off this rat. We can weaken the spider. Have a go at that dwarf. My fake goblin can move up. Again, this can only attack one thing. It may as well finish off the spider. And the skeleton is going to step into the breach again and hold off, because these are pretty formidable. Even the ranged attack is going to be a big problem for my wizard, even riding him out. But none of them can attack the skeleton, so I'm just going to back off a little bit because I can and start disbelieving stuff. See if any of these giants are fake. It is. I wonder how many of them are fake. Okay, not that one anyway. Okay, well I have 6 turns now to survive. I feel like I'm going to do it, because none of this stuff is going to have much of a chance of getting through here past the skeleton. And I'm beginning to feel a little bit cheeky, like I should perhaps advance and try and attack stuff. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that. So it would be better to just sit at the back of the map for the next 5 turns, but you know, if this is your first time playing the game, by all means do that. I don't fancy doing that. I fancy seeing if any more of these guys are fake. That one's not either. But I'm going to move up. And oh, these guys are actually up on a cliff. So yeah, none of these giants can actually do me any harm. So I'll just move forwards and hope for the best. And what I'll look at doing is building up enough mana by not casting stuff to put the shadow forest down. This is like the shadow wood I cast earlier, but you get more trees and it has a greater range. Ah, the AI has put down a paladin and I don't have any blob left. So that's going to be, again, a problem, because that's the one thing that can cause trouble for my skeleton. So let's advance the skeleton out of harm's way. And send the goblin this way instead. So the fake goblin's going to have a look at the paladin. These guys between them that can move this way and take out the tree, so that can occupy that one's hex. So it has a ranged attack down to here, so I need to be careful of that. I'll activate this now, because I think I am planning to use it, and I can get that down right now. And I can get that down the next turn when I have more mana. But I can cast it on all these hexes, so you can see the range is absolutely enormous for this spell. So yeah, let's night Gimli. Let's get on with that next turn. Oh, the enemy wizard has a shield, so I don't know if my shadow wood's going to be able to take it out. That's kind of a shame. Well, because I've got plenty of stuff, I'm going to cast a fake unicorn, because I'm not going to need its amount. I only need to survive another 4 turns, and I can do that by running away. But let's see if we can go for a slightly more exciting ending. But yeah, not so exciting that I end up dead. So I think I am going to have to stay here this turn. Okay, so the paladin's just wading in. Oh, the eagle's annoying. That blocks my ability to cast a tree adjacent to the enemy wizard. So the tree is going to attack the paladin, and the paladin will retaliate and kill the tree. That's kind of okay, Because between Fake Goblin and Unicorn, okay, the Goblin's going to take a hit, but the Unicorn's going to finish the job, which is what we want. The second Paladin was fake. That's just awesome. Hats off to the computer. That was a classy move. So I'm going to tie up these giants. Again, I've got agility of 60. The giants have an agility of 10, so neither of them can move. And if I move to here, I should hopefully block that giant's... I can't block that giant's line of sight by the looks of it, because it's still showing me it's targetable. So I'll move around here and try and entice this eagle down. I think this giant can move up and can see the elephant, but it won't be able to see me hiding behind the fake goblin. Let's do that. Okay. Is the eagle fake? That's worth testing, because the giant can't really do anything anymore, because it's blocked by the skeleton. If the eagle's fake, I can cast my Shadow Forest right now. It isn't. But it'll probably attack me in the next turn, so it'll kind of solve the problem for me. Wow, 94. Okay. And yeah, the enemy wizard is fairly wisely running away, putting down yet another giant. So I'm engaged to the eagle, but it's not really a problem. Let's see what we can do with this. Because really we want these trees where they can't be escaped. So I can move to here, and I can probably cast them all over the place here. Let's see where else I can get to. So this guy here with the rock can kill my elephant, but none of the other rock wielding giants will be able to see my wizard once the elephant's dead, because it's going to be covered by this hill. So if I move over here, that will do actually, and I feel less exposed to the attacks of these giants if I do that. So let's try as much as possible and surround the enemy wizard with trees, so pretty much anywhere it can move it's going to be taking at least one hit from these trees. And yeah, the other trees will just stick down here, because why not? Trusty Fake Goblin's going to move around here, and the skeleton's going to have a bite out of that giant. What's it telling me? It can still move? Oh, the skeleton can still move, but we don't need to move the skeleton. Excellent, so it's not a mount, so the enemy wizard is going to be taking some lumps now from all these trees. I only have 2 turns left, so I'm not going to win the game. But randomly attacking things, I feel like I could have won the game if I had a few more turns. Because my enemy here is going to be running out of creatures pretty soon. And I can cast another of these Shadow Forests next turn, and there's nothing the AI can really do about that. Yeah, I can't chew through all that this turn, so we're going to have to win by playing for the draw. I think the enemy wizard has just run out of spells, because 2 disbelieves in a turn is pretty unusual, so we'll take some health off everything because we can. And then we'll just leave it at that and win. You fake? No. Okay, but the failed disbelief gave us enough mana for the trees next turn, if there was a next turn, which there isn't. And the AI hadn't run out of spells. That was just a frenzy of disbelieves. Okay, but we win anyway.